What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive into GME. Please do me a favor and make sure to not take any of what I'm showing here as any type of financial advice. Please be sure to take it as just entertainment purposes. Do your own due diligence and everything would be absolutely cool. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. This is GME on the 5-day. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We actually met those massive upside targets that we were speaking of just a few days ago. Man, I was actually a guest speaker here on one of the busy brands space Twitter Twitter X Spaces calls, right? And I actually came on and they spoke to me about potential targets. I said that I wouldn't be surprised if this week we ended up reaching the $80 to $100 level, and that is exactly what we did. So let's go ahead and take a look at that 12-hour time frame here, team. Please notice the power behind what you're observing here. That is absolutely an $80 top, right on the money, and it marks off just a massive continuation to the upside right now in the 24-hour market. Just so that we are all in the know over where a GME currently sits, it is actually at $58.50 in that 24-hour market, the overnight market. So this is 100% powerful, team. I do expect a potential gap up into the next trading session, right? So this is roughly where we're sitting just right about now, right? So we're just gonna go ahead and leave it at a flat 58.50 because that's where I saw it. So let me just put in horizontal line on this, right? So come on. Here we go. Where are you? Trading View. There we go. Of course, you guys, I'm dealing with the Mac side of things, right? I'm not on the PC like I always am. So let's just leave it here at around that 58.50, right? Right. That should be okay, just so that we can kind of identify where we're sitting at the present moment. So this is it right here. Let's just make sure that we can observe here some volatility versus momentum, right? So we're going to use the immediate short-term time frame and identify to see if there's any potential targets to the upside, because please remember that we already have an all-time high. If you guys recall the $580 target, or 500 whatever target that was back in February of 2021, this target is now identified as 120. Let's just hover the candle right over that, and it's a high of, if we come on. So it shows here as a high. I don't think that's it though. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna hover it right over here, right? So it looks like it's about 128.36. So if it is that 128.36, it looks like we've already made what, an 80 to 90% move towards that all-time high. Damn. That gave an opportunity for a lot of people, a lot of trapped bag holders to take their gains, take their profits at a very, very interesting high. That is a high that a lot of people wish they had seen around 2 or 3 years ago, right? So that is absolutely powerful, team. If we are to gap up on this, I do expect this to continue on to the upside and face resistances. We're going to have to use here our discretion, right? So please notice right up in here, we have a target located right at about 87.42. So I'm going to go ahead and note this down right here so that we know exactly what we're talking about together, right? So actually 85.67. We're going to use the opening basis of, the closing basis of this green candle right in there. So to about 96.72. So yes, I am saying that there is a probability here that we can face this resistance next as soon as we start recovering the price action from the downside that we experienced. Now, I want you to remember too that before yesterday's trading day, the night before that, I was talking to you about a potential retracement, and I said that I'm not sure if we have enough thrust to be able to meet this, but there is a possibility for us to come back and close the gap here from this trading day, right? So please remember that today's price action, I was already determining a potential drop. I said I don't think we'll reach that $30 level, but we may actually retrace here to start closing the prior day's gap, right? So this is just something that kind of we need to pay attention to, right? So for example, today price action ended up closing at $48. We are presently $10 in the money right now. So again, we may actually get presented with that opportunity to get our pullback down to that zone and then pull up. Okay, so as the price action starts to make these massive highs, we're going to start noticing bigger gaps, bigger longer candles, and larger exponential moves towards the upside if it is that we continue on this ride. Let me go ahead and just remind you here what it looked like before when we had that run to the upside here, right? Take a look at the candles here, right? Look at this. So you had massive jumps on candles, right? Huge volatility spikes, massive gaps, right? All over the place, right? So that's exactly how things would happen, right? Things are starting to get really volatile here. And if I am perfectly clear, it looks like the candles that we're printing now are starting to become roughly around the size of those that we experienced back in February. So as price action continues to the upside and continues to make new highs, there's always that need to come back and close previous gaps. So there's always going to be that possibility, right? We're going to have to keep in mind that we have now this gap here, 48.75 to 30.49, and also this gap here, right? That's going to be from 26.36 down to the 17.95. Of course, we're going to have to keep in line the wick basis gaps as well, right? Not only the opening and closing basis. So all of these gaps at one point may or may not fill. Okay, but I know that there's a lot of catalyst happening right now, right? Roaring Kitty and others are just continuing to post, and at a rate of about 30 minutes every 30 minutes on a day. So I think this is a very powerful ticker. I do see a continuation to the upside. I mean, we've been tracking it here since around $11 down to the $9.95 area and continuing. So, yeah. So I do think we may actually get this continuation, a gap up in the morning, potential pullback to close that gap like we spoke of, right? Well, with that probability, but I do think that we're going to gap up in the morning, team. So there may be an opening beyond $64. We may actually be testing that $80 zone yet again. In fact, if it doesn't work as a double top, we may actually succeed the upside of that $80 target and move into the next target zone that we were speaking of here at 96.72. If we can take a look at our Fibonacci ratios, it looks like we have a 4.236 at 108.99, and of course just above the $120 target that we have as a high, there is that 4.618 at 135.30. Okay, so I'm not saying that that's the end of it. In fact, there are further targets to the upside that we can even evaluate here, but I wouldn't like to kind of I don't want to overdo it per se, right? I just want to make sure that we're providing the right information here. What I'm going to do is take a Fibonacci ratio from this point here, from that swing high to this swing low, and we're going to see the upside bounds, and we're going to see how we can potentially identify some future targets as well, right? So let's go ahead and take that into account right now and apply it. So I know it's a little bit messy here, right? It's just we're tracking this day in and day out. So here is another method of identifying some upper bound targets, right? So you can see here that using a completely different time frame on this Fibonacci ratio, we're already confluent to that 135 that we have at the 4.618 here. So I know you're seeing these targets right up here. Okay, team, I'm just, you can see them for yourself, right? I guess if it's a little uncomfortable to speak of targets like this, especially when we were just trading at 9.95, just about not too long ago, right? So you can see those targets there. It's roughly, I guess I can just say whatever, man. So 4.236 at 209.29, 4.618 at 275.28. I hear buzz around that there could be a continuation to the upside into those targets there, right? I'm not trying to get too emotional here. I am opening risk on both GME and AMC on a daily basis. So if you have any questions or concerns, you know where to reach me, all right, team? So please remember, take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, okay? Make sure to follow the ARCa Bulls Trading Team. I'll have a link in the description below. And please do me a favor, and if you are at all interested, right, we've already been talking about this a few times, right? If you're interested in getting that trading program in for beginners, I am consolidating it from an 18 to 19 week program down to a 4 to 5 week crash course. Get in touch with me for that 4 to 5 week mentorship program, and we'll get you situated. I'll get you the disclaimer, the syllabus, and everything pertinent to that subject. All right, team? So once again, please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.